Aloha and welcome to the Galactic Council of Light 2024 Energy Forecast. I'm Taylor Norris, Certified Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioner and Galactic Astrology Soul Reader. And today I am honored and thankful and grateful and blessed to be joined by fellow certified practitioners, Renee. Hello, Renee. Ulrika. Josh, Louise, Tina, Joyce, and our amazing teacher, Julia. Thank you all so much for being here and sharing your wisdom about the exciting energies of 2024. And thank you to all of you who are listening and watching and resonating. We appreciate your presence, your receptivity, and your openness. The intention of this video is to provide you with valuable healing, empowerment, guidance, and inspiration to our community and soul family of galactically curious, awakening souls. I have been guided to initiate this collaboration at the persistent nudging of my guides, those who call themselves the Galactic Council of Light. And they have informed me of the human component of this council, which includes all of us here gathered together live, as well as those of you listening, watching, and resonating. I waited and I waited to call together this council and asked my guides to give me one final sign that I should go for it. I live in Hawaii, and so I was driving down to the coast for my daily walk, and I was greeted by this enormous, beautiful, clear rainbow. And this rainbow did not come and go. It stayed there, and it morphed and it changed, but it stayed there for over an hour on my walk. And I knew in my heart and every fiber of my being that this was the sign, and to initiate this gathering, and that this rainbow frequency and energy is core to what will be transmitted today. I was reinformed this morning that an energy transmission will also be part of this video, bringing in unity, wholeness, balance, thriving, prosperity, and many higher frequencies that we're very hungry for and ready for at this time. So I'll take a moment now and invite us to go ahead and close our eyes and take some deep breaths together as we close our circle, creating a sacred space, inviting in the highest possible expression of this video, of this gathering, this circle of the Galactic Council of Light, that we may be clear channels open to receiving divine guidance, enlightened wisdom for the highest and greatest benefit of all who listen this time, blessing in 2024 and beyond. We invite in and receive wholeness, unity, balance, thriving, wellness, and prosperity for all. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo. All right. And so now we will begin the wisdom sharing. Renee, please take it away.
Okay, hello everybody. And Taylor, thank you for this idea and opening this up. And you just changed my talk, and so that's awesome. And I'm going to share some slides with you right now that I just put together. What I'm called to talk about Pluto into Aquarius. We know that that's a big transit that's coming up on January 20th, 2024. And Pluto is going to be, has been and will continue to be on my ascendant, which is 0 degrees Aquarius. And so the stars I'm going to be talking about that are part of this conjunction with Pluto in Aquarius are stars that I have in my chart on my ascendant. So um, I'm just offering this little brief presentation here, but I'll be doing larger, more presentations throughout January specifically and throughout the year to help people adjust to, okay, what is this new transformational energy with Pluto in Aquarius? So actually, Pluto will already be conjunct the two stars, Alberio and Altar, when he enters Aquarius. Because once he hits Capricorn 2926 on January 3rd, he will be conjunct Altar, which has a large orb of 2.40, which is really quite large for a star. The other star is more subtle, so we'll be able to feel the energy of the conjunction while Pluto is still in the transformational feeling of Capricorn, which is very earthy and very masterly. It's like this earth mastery sign. And so many of us have been trying to put together what we know to bring into this transition, this transformational energy that Pluto brings to each sign. So Pluto will be bringing transformational energy into the sign of Aquarius, which he hasn't been in for like 240 years. So this is new for us on this planet. So the stars are going to help us adjust to the new, faster air energy of transformation that Pluto is bringing into the sign of Aquarius. So being able to connect with these two stars, I feel, is going to help us be able to adjust to these new energies. So astrologers like to look at exact conjunctions. So I put those exact dates here. And this is all will be available to all of my email subscribers and YouTube subscribers, and you'll be able to, at the end, know what all of that is. But one of the things that is happening is Pluto is going to station to go retrograde just before he hits an exact conjunction with Altar, which is huge, because when a big planet like Pluto stations to go retrograde, there is this feeling that he stops still and stations for a couple of days where he's not moving at all. And the energy is much easier to connect to on those days when a large planet stations. Let me skip to the next slide where it's a little clearer and you can see it in the chart. This is what is going to be happening as Pluto hits 0 degrees, 0 degrees. What is beneficial to all of us trying to key in with this new transformational energy is the sun ushers Pluto in. So when you have the sun ushering in a new planet as it enters a new sign, it makes it easier for us to connect with the energy, especially since most of us are used to connecting with stars through the sun, like tracking, oh, okay, the sun is on this star, so I'm going to connect with it on this day when the sun is exact to that star. And so the sun will be there helping us with the illumination energies of both Alberio and Altar. So the sun will be conjunct both of those when it goes into Aquarius and bringing Pluto with it so that we can see the illumination of the sun with the energy from these stars coming through to us, and the Pluto, which is this new, entering this new way of being transformational. So Altera is currently at 2.06 degrees, and interestingly enough, when Pluto enters Aquarius, that's the degree of Altara, because Altara is in retrograde at the moment Pluto enters, which is helpful to us because when a star or a cosmic point is in retrograde, we can reflect more easily on it. And then by the time the star or the galactic point goes direct, we can take action from the downloads that we received from that star. So another interesting thing is that Venus is conjunct the galactic center at the moment that Pluto enters Aquarius, which is very helpful if we have a connection to the galactic center. That helps us connect to this energy. Venus being right on it can help us bring in the divine feminine aspect. Haumea is the higher octave of Neptune, which is the higher octave of Venus, and it is going to be on the Shapley attractor. This Haumea is a trans-Neptunian planet. It's beyond Neptune. It stays in signs for a long time. So Haumea has been here on Shapley for quite a while, and it's going to continue to be affected by this energy, this beautiful, this cosmic point of energy that is like a gravitational pull and an attraction. Also, some more divine feminine energy as Pluto enters Aquarius is that Saturn and this trans-Neptunian planet Gong are both going to be on the star Fomalhaut, and Fomalhaut energy is related to Archangel Gabriel, which in the stories in Christianity, the Great Mother energy is Mother Mary and Archangel Gabriel coming to tell Mary the news that she's going to be giving birth to a special child that can bring in the Christ light for all of us to use. So Saturn is conjunct this star, and Gong, which is this empathic wizard energy, is also in the mix. He's been on Fomalhaut for the last few months, and it's going to continue very few more months. So all of these energies are set up to help us in this transition between these energies. This is what this star looks like too. It's a golden star with a twin star, this little blue star. And so when you have twin stars working together, there's a different energy than when you're just working with one star. These stars are in relationship, working together. And it is in the constellation of Cygnus, which is the swan, and this star Alberio is on the beak. There is a lot of Great Mother energy in this star Alberio, according to Divine Harmony. So I checked in and discovered my own connection to the divine feminine, which, not surprising, for me is Mother Mary, who pointed me not just to what I know about her, but pointed me to this more universal sense of the great mother, that all of these embodiments of this great mother energy are receiving and working with. So we've got the divine great mother energy coming through, not only Mut, which is Divine Harmony led us to, but also Mother Mary. And so in many different expressions. So we can just take our personal expression connection to this energy and find the more universal divine source. So Alberio is a very gentle star, and it can help us as we're adjusting, as Pluto, learns how to be in a new sign. And then the next star is Altar, which more people write about. And for me, having this on my ascendant, this is Altar right here, very close to here. So it's got Altar, and this is like the head of the eagle. So we've got swans and eagles. So what this is telling me is that we're all ready to soar. And all of these stars, when we connect, if we connect to Altar, we can connect and move from star to star in a constellation pattern through the rainbow. And since Taylor brought up the whole rainbow idea, it's like there's this whole energy of the rainbow moving us from star to star in a constellation. So that can help us get a larger embodiment and feel of what this star is inviting us into. And for me, the way that this star works for me is that when I connect to it, I connect to it in my left hip. I connect to it in my calf too. That has helped me in my life, and it helps me step forward into the unknown with courage. So this star can help us as Pluto is teaching us a new way of transformation. This star can help us bring courage and to be able to speak what is unknown, because what we're going to be stepping into is the unknown types of energies from Pluto. We're just finishing up our work now at the end of the work that we were doing in Capricorn, which is go of, and we are stepping into the ability, we're stepping out of our Capricorn cage that we've been dismantling, and the courage to come into the new, but come in with steps of gentleness, with these two stars as our helpers as we move through and help others through, because we're all leaders here, and we're stepping through, and we can find these energies that are going to be helpful to everybody as we all move through this coming year of 2024. So thank you, everyone. I will go ahead and stop sharing now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renee. Ulrika, please share.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to share 3 slides. So I would like to continue the important points that Renee brought up with some focus around 3 different dates in 2024 and some really important conjunctions and constellation fixed stars that are highlighted at that time. And this first slide is really highlighting 2 areas of the chart of February 13th. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that we have an interaction here over the course of the first 5 months between the North Node, Mars, and Chiron. And I just have these 3 slides will take you through a little story or continuum between these 3 very important points in our charts, but also highlight the fixed stars that are associated, because they're repetitive. And that always means something when repetitive areas of the charts are highlighted. So in this first point here, I want to make is, of course, as Renee mentioned, Pluto is going to go into Aquarius in January. And this first point around February 13th is when Mars is conjunct Pluto. Because Mars is often coming in and highlighting something that is either some sort of action is taken. It's personal planets for many. It's going to also activate their charts in different ways. So as Renee said, Pluto at the time is conjunct Aquila Altair, but also Lyra Aladfar. And this combination, they're very close in proximity to each other in the sky, but it definitely highlights this part of our energy that is really associated with liberation from injustice. So Mars coming in here, highlighting this, is going to activate us in terms of, okay, what do I need to release here in this new environment, Pluto in Aquarius? So this to me is an important time. Now, in addition, on this day, and I've just cast a chart here for noon in Boston, Massachusetts, where I'm located. But as it so happens, there is another point that is activated very significantly here, and that's the North Node. The true position of the North Node is exactly conjunct Chiron on this day. And as I casted this chart, the moon is there as well. So this combination of energies, and I want to highlight the fixed star Alperatz and also Tau Ceti, Cetus Tau Ceti in this construct here at 16 degrees of Aries, because Tau Ceti is going to come back as a story over the course of this year. And Tau Ceti is associated with energy around diplomacy. Sometimes it's actually more of a highlighting energy. I feel like a spotlight is coming on us at this time from the fixed star Tau Ceti. So it will highlight some sort of diplomacy or some due diligence here. And in combination with Chiron, it's likely with, our wounds in some shape or form that we either need to heal or turn into a gift, right? And teach others about it. So here we have also a sense of freedom in this area at 16 degrees of Aries. And also that we enjoy those gifts that we have now either healed through our Chiron journey or we're ready to share. So I think the interpretation of these two energies on this day can be, mark your calendars for February 13th. Now, there's a continuum of energy here. So I want to take us to the next chart, which is the solar eclipse on April 8th. And there's a link here, as you will find. Now, if you paid attention to Mars in the previous chart, Mars is now on this solar eclipse conjunct Saturn, or in the vicinity of Saturn in Pisces there. So there has been a journey between Mars traveling from Pluto up to Saturn. But also on the solar eclipse, we have a conjunction between the solar eclipse here at 19 degrees of Aries with Chiron. So what does this mean? And Tau Ceti is again highlighted at the solar eclipse. Very interesting, right? So we are continuing this, due diligence, if you will, or this need for making something right or balancing an energy here. And the solar eclipse is going to be super important for that. Now, I also am very fond of finding patterns, and we do have a kite in this chart highlighting the supergalactic center. And if you see here, Venus position at 27 degrees of Aries is very much opposite within the wide orb we work with, is in opposition to the supergalactic center. We also have this minor grand trine building from the Pleiades with Sedna at 0 degrees of Gemini. And also, of course, Pluto is engaged here. So what does this mean? This kite at the solar eclipse is an energy of infusion of feminine, divine feminine energy. And Mars here talking to Saturn, squaring Orion Betelgeuse. There is a conversation of what needs to take place here, because Tau Ceti is highlighted again. It is that, how can we be more supportive? How can we be more in doing our own due diligence, stepping into our talents and gifts at this time? And the solar eclipse is going to shine a very bright light with guidance from Pleiades and Sedna there. But also Pluto pointing at the supergalactic center. So Tau Ceti is clearly in the focus here. And then we take another step. And we can go on, but these are the three highlights that I pulled out from 2024. Now, again, pay attention to Mars here in this chart. This is from May 19th. And Mars's journey has continued, right? And this, on this date, Mars is conjunct the North Node. And we have more going on here, but that is really also a an activation of our future direction. Now Andromeda Alperads is highlighted at that time. And Alperads, again, associated with freedom, liberation, really enjoying our gifts and talents. So this time of the year may be some sort of download. It's, now I know my new direction for the year. It's taken a couple of months, but the North Node conjunct Mars here is definitely an activation of some sort. We have more to come. I'm just highlighting also the Sun conjunct Jupiter here around this date, but also Venus conjunct Uranus. There's a bigger story to those conjunctions that I'm not going to go into here in this video. But the fact that we are having these very important alignments, highlighting Andromeda Alperads in this chart, and also around, the late degrees of Taurus here, going in and activating the Pleiades constellation or star cluster, along with that Sedna position that we've had there for a long, long time. It's going to be an infusion again of awakening ascension energy. That's how I interpret these 3 points. And I want to just stop there because this story continues, and we have a very important point in April as well that I know that I think it's Josh next that's going to talk about that. So yeah, enjoy these journeys with us, and I'm so happy you're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ulrika. Josh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's great to be here. So yes, very, very exciting. Some astrologers are calling this a kind of astrological highlight of the year. And so on the 21st of April, 1:27 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have a conjunction at 21 degrees between Jupiter and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So we've got Jupiter's expansive, brave, full of fortune and adventure kind of energies, meeting with Uranus's limitlessness and breakthrough and innovative and even kind of rebellious energy coming together in the sign of Taurus, which represents material pleasures and Mother Earth and the economic and financial kind of systems of the world. We've also got a conjunction to Pandora, which is one of the asteroids at this point. And she's known within Greek mythology as the first woman, kind of similar to Eve. And obviously, many of us know the story of Pandora with her box, where she opens it. She's given this box, opens it, it spills out all the evils onto the world, but left within it is hope. And I'm just going to kind of like pinpoint all the kind of main astrological influences, and then I'm going to explain more about what all of this means. So on a galactic level, we have Hadar, also known as Beta Centauri, in an opposition. And Hadar is a very sheltered, heavenly star system full of peace and harmony. It's just a beautifully unconditionally loving heavenly experience there. We've also got a trine to the Lyra Nebula and Sulafat. Sulafat is in the Lyra constellation too. It's the second brightest star within Lyra, and it's known as the tortoise shell, which kind of allows the sound of the Lyra to reverberate and bounce off and vibrate into the universe. So we've got all of these, in this exact moment, energies working together. And to me, if I was to give this all a big kind of title, it would be Quantum Leap Your Heaven on Earth. And what I sense with this is there is just this beautiful embodiment of heaven on earth that is in potential for all, really. It's a moment where, or a period of time, because the energies are going to be, really felt for quite a while, I would have thought, either side of this date. But I really feel like the soul and the body are going to kind of become one, like the soul being heaven and the body being earth, just like having more potential to kind of come into oneness, where this allows the kind of the divine plan of your soul to have a quantum leap expansion into what it's here to give and to serve with. You know, you could experience great expansions within finances, in your businesses, in the way that you serve. You could have incredible innovative downloads during this time. And, you know, Taurus being ruled by Venus, you have lots of creativity coming through. So just being really heart-centered and open to inspiration and creativity and what the universe wants to do through you, because you know, this is going to be specific to you and your chart as well. So I would have a look at any of the galactic alignments that I've mentioned and where they line up in your chart as to how this might affect your life and your personal quantum leap of heaven on earth may manifest. Now, I think the things that are going to be most supportive you know, with the energies of Hadar, it's just keep your love on. So the more that you can expand into unconditional love on a very embodied level. So, you know, a lot of souls who resonate with this kind of work may have had a lot of heavenly experiences and carry a lot of that frequency within their souls. And they come to Earth with, you know, the cellular memory and the DNA of a very different kind of frequency. So the more that we can really unconditionally love our bodies, our ancestors, the collective consciousness, and those around us, the more that we can find, you know, home of heaven here on earth, because the new earth really starts with us and it starts with our own embodiment of that, so that we can then see the manifestation and the creation of it around us. But I really think that this point is going to be just an amazing opportunity for the age of Aquarius and the new earth to be ushered in. Another thing that I would really highly recommend is seeing the silver lining. So, you know, with Pandora here and all the challenges and the evils of the world that she kind of releases, you know, the more that we can look at these challenges with wisdom and see that there is a silver lining, there is enlightenment on the other side from any shadow, any challenge that we can experience, the more that we focus our vision on really seeing the other side, the more that we can really expand into that quantum leap that clearly wants to happen from that springboard of hope that's left within her box. So with the trine to Lyra and the Lyra Nebula, a lot of souls came into this galaxy from the Lyra Nebula into the Lyra constellation and kind of created a bit of a heaven on earth for themselves before a draconian influence came and invaded. And so there was a lot of trauma that was experienced. So I really think that during this time, there could be healing from a really ancient galactic experience that we've had, which allows a huge ripple effect of love to kind of move throughout our whole galaxy, to bring this galaxy into more unity, oneness, and love. And with the influence of Sulafat as well, I think, you know, being the tortoise shell, the more that we engage with our sound, the more that we engage with our voice, the more we affirm who we are and what we're creating, and let that sound release into the universe, I think the more will kind of support the quantum leap of our own personal heaven on earth that wants to happen during this time to become manifest. I just want to note as well, I know Joyce is going to talk a little bit more about the numerology of the year, but it just really interests me that it's 21 degrees, 21st of April, which obviously adds up to 3. And so the number 3 is about communication. So really important to kind of communicate to the universe exactly what our hearts and our souls are desiring to manifest through this incredible opportunity that the cosmos is giving us. It's also the number of creativity and magic and artistry. So the more kind of creative and the more we can be in our own artistic expression, the more the magic is going to just support this incredible cosmic alignment for us to really experience more of this heaven on earth. So yeah, that's my bit. Thank you for doing this, Taylor, and thank you for letting me share. Big love.
Thank you so much, Josh. Wow, so exciting. Louise, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much. This is so amazing. And it's so, although we're all talking about something different, the synergy between it all, as it's starting to sort of evolve and play out, I'm like, wow. So I wanted to talk about an aspect that is going to be active. It sort of comes into play towards the end of April. But it is going to be active for the majority of 2024 and throughout 2025 as well. So it kind of feels like it's like the supportive activity in sort of in behind the scenes, if you like. What it is what we're calling a galactic grand air trine. And I just want to shout out to Molly McCord, because I do her annual astrology courses online, and this is something that she sort of drew attention to in the 2024 course. So it's too good not to share. I wanted to kind of try and sort of bring it to this audience. So, I mean, obviously, we all know about the ascension process, and there's a lot of talk about shifts in consciousness and great awakening. And I feel that this grand air trine is really instrumental in supporting that process. Because for when you have a grand air trine, it means that there are 3 planets or points all lying within the same element. So we are going to have Pluto, which Renee already spoke about, moving into Aquarius, and Pluto is going to be between 0 and 2 degrees of Aquarius throughout the year, apart from a sort of a short return back into Capricorn. But we also have Sedna, who is moving into Gemini at the end of April, 27th of April, I believe. And the third point in this trine is the supergalactic center at 2 degrees of Libra. So because Pluto is going back and forward, it's going to be stay in this trine. Sedna doesn't move from 0 Gemini in 2024, and obviously the supergalactic center is a fixed point. And when we have a trine in air, the themes that are stepping forward are very much about information. It's a very mental energy, but it also is very much about supporting our understanding and having new information coming through that sort of enhances our understanding. Air is also, for me, all about energy and frequency and consciousness. And with the trine being activated, there's a beautiful flow between these 3 points. And also, it feels that once the kind of momentum gets going, because of the trine, there's this continuous flow, it's going to be quite hard to stop. So whereas in the past, we've been working with other elements, when it gets to air, you can't really contain air or control it or curtail it. So, you know, it's because it is everywhere. So it does feel, I know a lot of us waiting for sort of information to start flowing and disclosure, but I kind of really feel with this particular aspect that once things start going, it's going to be like we have liftoff. So just to pick apart these 3 planets and points very briefly, it's very rare for outer planets to change signs because they have such long and slow transit. So the fact that we've got Pluto and Sedna both moving into air, you know, within a short space of time it's a big deal. All 3 planets and points are way out. So this is taking the energy way beyond our kind of day-to-day human experience, our reality, our understanding of, you know, of humanity. And so taking us into a completely different experience and frame of reference. Now, with Pluto in Aquarius, and what we're looking at is Pluto is always about transformation and evolution. So Pluto wants us to evolve, and in Aquarius, this is very much a humanity theme. It's about science, it's about technology, it's taking us out to the galactics, which is great news for us and what we do. But I also feel with the Aquarius energy, whereas in the past things might have happened that have been very compartmentalized, and we're now moving into a time where what happens affects us all, so it's a whole world experience rather than just, something's happening in that part of the world. Oh yeah, we know about it, but we don't need to get involved. I think this is going to bring constant experiences where, you can't turn a blind eye because it's affecting us all. This is about progress, and there's a real sense of rebirth, renewal, and deconstructing what we knew, what we believed, so that we can move forward. And then when we go around to the next corner, we've got Sedna, very, very slow transit. So she has been in Taurus since 1965, I believe. And Sedna really is about what is hidden within our deep subconscious, what is frozen in there. And that can be information that we're holding within our cellular framework, information that has been hidden from us, concealed, blocked off. And it's also about Sedna had to let go of everything that she relied on and everything that she knew. She was tossed into the ocean, and she regenerated because she had to adapt to this new environment. So it's about what happens when we are freed from dominance, from control, from the patriarchal system that we've been living under, and how we adapt. And with the Gemini influences, it's all about information. It's about our mind, our mental understanding, and our framework and our reference. And then we go round to the third corner of the triangle and the supergalactic center, which is a cosmic point that we use a lot in astrology. It's very powerful. It behaves like a black hole. So this is very much about sort of pulling away everything that is no longer true or that isn't resonant with where we're going in our evolution. And when the supergalactic center is active, we want to know more, we want to be more, we're being stretched out of our experience and our understanding. And we're on a journey of self-discovery, but it is taking us way out beyond into the cosmos. And we have this great desire to connect with something outside of ourselves. This point is also very alchemical. It transmutes, it's breaking down. So we've got this kind of real sort of rebirth, regeneration and transformation theme. And just to go back to Pluto, what's really interesting that Pluto is going to be squaring the Shapley attractor, which is another cosmic point at 2 degrees of Scorpio. So again, we've got beautiful, what squares can sometimes be quite challenging and quite tense, but because Pluto is very aligned with the Shapley attractor energy, it is scorpionic. It feels like rather than tension and challenge, it's very catalytic. And it's like, both the Shapley attractor and Pluto want to get to the bottom of things. It's about truth, it's about exposing, and it's about having full transparency. So I feel that, again, that's going to be ongoing. This is not a short transit. This is kind of really, keeping the momentum going. So with this grand air trine, we've obviously got the flow. It's all about consciousness, and it's really fascinating to me that all 3 points are very much about rebirth, about regeneration. It's about a new understanding, and what we can expect to see is or receive is information about our evolution, about our history, about what is out there, sort of beyond our solar system, how we fit into the bigger picture. There's likely to be lots of starseed awakenings, even more so than there have been till now. I mean, we talk a lot about DNA upgrades and activations. Again, that's part of it. This increase in consciousness, the raising of vibration, and really ultimately about the truth that we need to know about and learn about to kind of help us transform and evolve. So this is about soul growth as well. So very exciting times. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Louise. Wow, I'm getting really excited. All right, Tina, please take it away. Share with us.
Hello, everybody. So I wanted to talk about Venus 8-year cycle and cosmic points and how that is going to look like in 2024 and forward. And the moon's trining and sextiling in June 24 to the star point with Andromeda and Corvus conjuncting the nodes. So let us go briefly through the Venus cycle. Here I'm using as source the work of Ariel Gutman, who has provided in her books and videos about Venus star points. And the Venus is, of course, the planet of love and beauty and relationships and values. And Venus has this 8-year cycle where she makes this beautiful choreography with Sun, and Venus has this retrograde period in every 19.5 months or so. And last summer we had the Leo retrograde period in August, and this 5-petal star is moving to clockwise direction and moves 1 to 3 degrees every time it comes to one of these these star points. And in 2022, the star point moved to Libra and started a Libra cycle for the first time in about 250 years. And Venus has started in the sign that she rules, so therefore this makes these Venusian themes even more stronger now. And the Libra cycle shall be questioning our relationships in repeating questions. And this is astrologically one of the reasons there are so much of this reorganizing of our relations in many ways, just not the relations between humans, but relations also between companies, organizations, nations, and of course, star nations too. And now Venus is heading to this point where it is furthest from the Earth and shall be invisible because it shall be behind the Sun. After the superior conjunction, Venus and Sun goes to the same direction, and Venus shall be visible again in the sky. Let's go forward. Now we look at this Venus cycle with this galactic astrology lenses, and we can see that this cycle is noted and supported, so to speak, from outside of our solar system. And in June 2024, Venus shall be making her superior conjunction with the Sun, and in that moment, the great attractor shall be opposing this point in a very tight orb. The great attractor is the third of these farthest point of these cosmic centers in our known universe. And the great attractor is amplifying this Venus star point into its kind of maximum. So if we think that the star point is our evaluation point, and the point that after that we should continue with the Sun together, so that we show our true colors, so to speak, proudly and not hiding. Now that the cosmic truth arrow is kind of pointing there, we kind of do not have nowhere to hide. The great attractor is also asking us to use our mental creativity in all our relations. And also, this star point moment is one of those peak moments of the 24, where we can appreciate and understand other people's values. At the same time, we value our own, and maybe understand that our communion and exchange of thoughts with each other can be loving and harmonious. Equality shall be a big theme. So we certainly have cosmic support for that. And there is also the supergalactic center connected to this in opposing Aries star point, and also the Shapley attractor is connected to this cosmic rose. So therefore also in the following years, the cosmic heartbeat is under the loving cosmic web, so to speak. And the two star points that doesn't have cosmic point companion has star nations aligned. And the Capricorn point has Lyran star Sheliak, and the Leo point is sextiled with Lepus Nihal. Also in that June 4th moment is this Sun and Venus conjunction is sextiled and trying to lunar nodes. And I see this early June moment very significant in collective sense because the Sun and Moon conjunction is in this position, and there is also this Andromeda Alpheus, which was already talked about, and then that is in the North Node point, and then there is this Corvus Algorab from the South Node point. So we are coming, so to speak, from the Corvus collective past and going to the Andromeda collective future. So this beautiful Sun-Venus strong love shine is balancing our underworld, our shadow, if you will, and our path in very subconscious level, and we are kind of heading to a new future in a very Andromedan style, free from any limitations from the past. So I think this sounds kind of a nice start for this summer. What do you think about that? I'm ready. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tina. That was so wonderful. And I didn't mention this at the beginning for our viewers. Definitely have your notebooks ready, taking notes. I know I'm learning so much from each of you. So thank you so much. And next, Julia, please share with us. I definitely want your notebooks for this.
Oh my God, I'm so high right now. I really hope I can keep myself grounded because, my goodness, the information that everyone here is sharing is just brilliant, and it adds more sense to my slide or the piece of the puzzle that I am bringing in as my contribution. So I decided to take a closer look at the star Algol, Beta Persei, rather Uranus conjunct this star starting on 25th of April, when it comes into the orb of this star, which is 1.5 degrees. It'll be precisely conjunct Algol on the 7th of June, and then it'll kind of be leaving the orb on the July 14th. So quite a large window, but I wanted to look at the date when Uranus is exact conjunct Algol. So this star has quite bad reputation, but our collective of Galactic Astrology Practitioners, as we are starting to tune into this star in our clients' charts, we are starting to uncover the blessings in disguise that come with this star when it is activated, whether through transits or certainly in our natal charts. So what I'm seeing here as I tune into everything, including the asteroids, the beautiful goddesses that are going to hold space for the major transformations that will be happening next year, I see a powerful activation of divine leadership and people who will find courage to speak up, to share things that are needed to be shared in order for the unhealthy old paradigm to truly crumble and allow positive changes to happen. So if you look at the kind of metaphoric story of Medusa, which Algol star represents her head, the impact or the effect she has on those that dare to look at her is that their being crumbles. You become a stone, you become no longer able to continue the way you did. And also with the transits and when Algol is activated through more malefic planets, like say Mars or Saturn, there tended to be catastrophes and really difficult situations and events in the past. So I don't want to paint a depressing picture here. However, on this day when Uranus conjuncts exact Algol, it will also be opposing the goddess Pallas, which is known as the goddess of intellectual pursuit. So, and because it's in Scorpio, there may be revealing information that will cause certain heads, perhaps in leadership, to fall. Not only because of this, but we also have this really powerful stellium in Gemini, including Sedna will already be in Gemini here. And I'm so glad that Tina mentioned the beautiful Venus points alignment here. We have Sun and Venus conjunct star Rigel in Orion constellation. And if we look at some of the history of star nations connected to Rigel and soul records of so many people that whether I regress through hypnosis or other QHHT practitioners, there are a lot of stories connected to Orion, to the movement known as the Black League, where there were so many souls passionately fighting for justice and for liberation of collectives that were suppressed through vicious manipulation by service to self forces, people or other nations that didn't have a planetary and collective best interests at heart. So we also have Mercury here conjunct Aldebaran, the frequency of Archangel Michael coming here strongly, and a few other powerful alignments that I'll mention briefly that I feel really are talking about a lot of information coming through, a lot of whistleblowers continuing to come up, and justice being served for anyone or any organization that acted out of integrity previously. So we have this interesting grand trine between Saturn, Pallas, and Vesta. Luis talked about grand trine that was in air signs, very mental kind of energy, but this trine between these three is water trine. So a lot of emotional energy moving through. So we have Saturn in Pisces, Pallas, which, as I mentioned before, is actually opposing Algol directly, Pallas in Scorpio, and then we have Vesta here in Cancer, goddess of family, tradition, and kind of almost like it can turn out to be stubborn. So what I'm getting here is that perhaps the portion of humanity that feels very conservative and traditional and have certain ideas about maybe idealizing Pisces and Neptune, also idealizing the old structures for what they hope they were, they may experience a lot of wake-up calls, because this goddess Pallas, when she's in Scorpio, and certainly triggered by Uranus here with Algol, she can tend to bring shocking news and events to make sure that higher perspective is reached, that change and transformation is happening. So I thought that's quite interesting. And another thing here, Astrea, goddess of justice, will be sextiling the south node and trining the north node. So in her shadow side, with certain aspects, Astrea can create obsessive ideas about things that we feel are entitled to. So I feel that energy again plays into this water grand trine, where there will be still many people that want to hold on to the old traditions and feeling like they are in the right. However, I feel there will be a huge amount of star seeds that are strongly connected to the Orion history, the frequency of Archangel Michael here, and also we have Ceres here, goddess that wants to bring nurturing and caring energy. And because she's in Capricorn here, she will make sure that those star seeds that are awakening will be very kind of considerate to the traditional way of thinking and kind of holding space, allowing for that kind of turbulent, difficult, emotional experiences for those whose worldviews will be crumbling. We'll have a lot of leadership that will be compassionate and nurturing and kind, patiently observing and holding space for transformation to occur. So these were my few cents. Oh, by the way, so this Uranus actually will be retrograding in the second half of next year. So it will actually return to this degree in April 2025. And then we have Astrea here, goddess of justice. She'll be moving until the end of this year. She'll move through signs that are connected also to justice, balance, harmony, revealing secrets, higher court orders. You know, there is a lot of work or kind of projects and paperwork being submitted to high courts for organizations and leadership, whether through pharmaceutical companies, whether through banking and other situations that, you know, there are growing groups of people that are stepping up to make sure that justice is served when people were acting out of integrity. We have Mars here, conjunct Andromeda Galaxy, and Alpha Andromeda here, North Node, as Tina mentioned, conjunct Andromeda. So I feel that frequency also will be very strongly coming in to liberate us from things that were hidden, that were suppressing us. I feel very excited about the energies that are coming through. And I'm sure you all will agree that it felt like this year we were trained to withstand opposition. You know, there were, I know many people that felt unfairly judged or exposed to opinions that seemed maybe unreasonable, and we were growing a thicker skin. I feel in preparation for next year, where more and more people will be called to stand up and speak up and create systems that will be able to bring greater harmony and eventually healthier experience for nations on Earth. Thank you for creating this space, and much love, strength, and peace to you all.
Thank you so much, Julia. Wow, that's so powerful. Joyce, please tell us about the numerology of
Yes.
2024.
It was so fun hearing all these different aspects, which are all included in the theme we are going through. In numerology, the number 2024 has the frequency of the number 8. And when I cut the number 8 in two, I got 2 circles. Like this, or like this, where you want to see it. So 8 is all about the relationship between those circles. So it functions like a mirror. It's the mirror of truth. The truth about oneself and the circumstances one finds oneself in. So it tells us what we actively initiate on one side, we will receive it passively on the other one. So it's literally what we reap is what we sow. Now 8 is as a number connected to Saturn, and Saturn is the number about structure and control, responsibilities, obligations, restrictions, all these kinds of things. And we heard about freedom and structures that we want to have different, we want to break free, all these kinds of things we heard about. So Saturn is not always a pleasant one, but hindsight, always a constructive one. So it asks us to look at our human mechanisms regarding control, internal and external. So it's about facing our fears about not having control, about the unknown, as Josh said as well. And it asks us to have a sincere and honest look at our actions. What motivates them? Are we living our true desires? And it's asking us to connect our physical mind and our heart together, not letting them speak as separate entities, but as one. It's the same as a battery. We have a plus side and a minus side, and both need to be connected in order for the battery to work as a desired tool, being the human body in this case. And this exercise takes great courage. It asks us to be our own leader about leadership, not to give the responsibility away, but taking responsibility for one's own creation. So it's like the card number 8 in the tarot, strength. Do you know this card? So it's facing our own limitations and fears, our own instincts of survival, and the need of control based around our personal, our collective, but also our ancestral experiences. And we also heard that about a lot of energy coming in for the possibility of releasing trauma. So only by recognizing those subconscious memories, because that is what we do, they are memories, they're built in, and we live them every day. By looking them in the eye, by actually looking the lion in the eye, we bring them forward in the internal now. And then one can see how and in what way one's own instincts of survival is influencing their experience of life. But it is eternal, because if we have the 8 sideways, we've got the infinity. So it's about staying in that middle point. Being the observer is also Aquila. Yeah, flying above it. Just to see, do we in this moment, we have a choice. Because you can't, it's impossible to be physically in yesterday, and it's also impossible to be physically in tomorrow. We are only physically now. So now is the perfect moment to make a different choice. Because what I put out is what I get back. So these mirrors of reflection, that's what the 8 is talking about. And then we also have the other side of the 8, or maybe the next level side. It's the star, the number 17, because 17 adds up as 8. So this is what we talked about as well, the stars. And 8 asked us to stand between the mirrors, to see in the reflections the truth about ourselves. And here at the star, we are asked to realize that mirrors also have a back, not only a front side, but also a back side. So in order to have a complete view, we need to rise above the mirrors. And the star is actually the stage between the square of the material, physical realm, and the circle, the spiritual realm. And the star sees of seeing this bigger picture, the higher structure, and the way we are part of it. And stars are about wishes, hopes, guidance, and even in a way they can be seen as other lives and experiences. But when we take 17 apart, it also gives certain kind of information. Because 17 is 1 and 7. And these 8 pointed stars, all the stars here are 8 pointed. We also have them here on the head of the charity. And 7 is the mystical number connected to the planet Neptune. And it refers to the collective consciousness, to unity, to spirituality, and simultaneously it also refers to everything that is fake. In Dutch we call it Neptune. So it also entails illusions and chaos and deception and confusion and feeling of the truth. So how are we going to distinguish between the two? And that is the play of the mirror again. But there's one thing you can be sure about. And what you can be sure about is that you know that you exist. And that's the magician, being the transmuter of the energies, also infinite. So this is also as above, so below, as within, so without. So this stage of the 8 refers to the realization of body, mind, and soul as a unity on a personal level, experiencing the totality in unity with the cosmos, connecting to our true essences, the infinite one, and realizing that the one is the all and simultaneously all are the one. So in review of all of this, compassion, the word compassion comes to mind. Compassion with oneself. Leave the judgments out. We are so harsh in judging ourselves. Open your heart. Be honest with yourself. Be sincere in your words. Yes, in sickness was also in the beak of the swan. What you speak out is what I get back. And of course, apply the same to any other expression of life, which is there for you as an expression in your creation, functioning as a mirror. As in the musical scale, lyra, which also starts with do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it ends with do as well. So it all starts with you and ends with you. So that's my 10 cents.
Thank you so much, Joyce, for that very unifying wisdom download perspective.
Thank you. Welcome.
So for my part in sharing, I was considering this question of, is this the age of Aquarius? And I was using my left brain to answer it. And this is a question I've been with all of 2023, definitely even earlier than that, but was really coming forward now at the end of the year. And so I was checking all over the world, what is the rising star on the day of the March equinox? What constellations will literally be rising on that March equinox? Thinking about that as the technical age of Aquarius. And what I found in my research was that it was a different star everywhere on Earth, depending on the location. And I was trying all different parallels, latitudes, longitudes, all of that. And I got in Hawaii, for example, the star rising will be Royal Star Fomalhaut, which I loved. I got really excited about that. Wow, that, frequential dose on the equinox. But looking at other locations in the world, I was finding stars in Capricorn constellation would be rising, stars in Pegasus constellation. It was just different depending on where I looked. And so, and even Lyra constellation was in the mix, some of the Lyra stars. So I understood that I had hit this wall in my left brain, and it was time to go into my right brain and investigate through a Reiki journey. So I took numerous Reiki journeys kind of with this question in the background, and so much information was very willing to come through. And so I will share about a particular Reiki journey I took to the 11th and 12th heavens of consciousness. And in this journey, Isis was present. She had been coming in all of December. Maybe some of you may have been feeling the presence of Isis and like the Sirius star energies. She was really coming in a lot in December 2023. So Isis took me to this beautiful palace in Sirius star system. It's gorgeous, glowing, crystalline diamond, white light, and absolutely exquisite. And there was this long, narrow pier jutting out, overlooking the water like a giant cliff, where at the very edge you could see the water was hundreds of feet below, many meters below. And I kind of looked back at her like, are we doing this? And I was fully prepared to take that leap of faith. And so I was preparing myself to make my most beautiful swan dive into the waters below, jumping and leaping off the cliff. And so this is what I started doing, like, leaping in the swan formation, which is so funny that the Cygnus, the swan, is coming through with the Pluto entering. Of course, I didn't even know that. And so I make my swan dive and I don't dive. I don't fall. I don't descend. There's no drop. There's no gravity. I fly and I soar and I know how to fly. And I'm just completely free and liberated and flying. And there are these beautiful treetops too that seem to appear out of nowhere. And I can go and I can have a rest on the tree. And to my utter delight, there are others having a rest on the treetops, and we're talking about it, and we're connecting, and we're there together. And then we're also flying together and resting on the treetops together. And to me, this was just such a beautiful experience to have by going within, that, we really do have this flying, this air support. I mean, it came through in so many of the transmissions here, the Galactic Grand Air Trine, the Jupiter and Uranus coming together, inviting in this heaven on earth energies, all of the birds that are so activated, the constellations of the birds. I mean, even the Libra South Node, and many of the transits that will be occurring next year and into 2025, that we know how to fly, and to really understand that if you are activated, you will fly. There's nothing to be afraid of, that comes along in the future. You know how to fly. Others know how to fly. Groups of others who are flying together, supporting those who are being activated in their ability to fly as well. So remember, you can fly, you can soar together, and we are remembering this ability to fly too, that is coming from our deepest soul and spirit selves. So there is this energy and this support of rising above, of liberation, that I think really pulses through so strongly next year, no matter what is occurring, whether that's a more conscious path of spiritual commitment and liberation that was more intentionally curated, or whether it's one that, there are kind of surprise Kundalini awakenings occurring, and, massive connecting of the dots and new revelations occurring, that no matter what stage you are in your activation, I really feel that this group gathered together live, and then those who are watching and resonating, like, we will be called to fly together and to support those who are just awakening to their remembrance that they too know how to fly and can fly. So that's what came through, and that's what I was guided to share in this particular gathering. Yes, so I would just like to invite anyone with any final words before we close or open the circle. I also wanted to mention that everybody's links to connect will be in the description below. So feel free to connect with any and all of the beautiful souls gathered here today, websites, YouTube channels, social medias, all of that will be provided in the description below. So just want to open the floor to anybody who has any final words or messages, burning desires to share at this time. Great. You all have been quiet, just taking that moment together. So beautiful. Well, thank you all for being a part of this Galactic Council of Light. And we'll just take this moment now to open the circle. So I invite you to close your eyes and bring your hands together at heart center and even place your hands on your heart. I just invite you to say thank you to you. Thank you for being here today, being open to your soul growth, your liberation, your healing, your empowerment, being a clear channel for this higher guidance and higher wisdom, the higher frequencies of energies that each of us is created and designed to be able to channel through and flow through. What a beautiful gift each of you are. And so we say thank you to each other for our circle, certainly divinely ordered. So grateful for this soul family of unconditional love and light force energy gathered together across the globe, across the solar system, across the Milky Way galaxy and far, far beyond. We are so very grateful for all of our support in all of its forms. And we welcome in and invite in the highest possible expression and receive the highest possible expression, the healed timeline, the highest, most evolved, most loving, beautiful timeline possible for Earth humans in 2024. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo. Thank you all so much.